let's start the
will
session.
now be recorded.
In last session, what we have seen, we have just discussed about the workflow, what we're gonna teach in the coming classes, right? So, okay, so from today, what we're gonna see is, let's see first thing how you need to create your own AWS account and how to create a Linux box and how you connect to your Linux box from your workstation. Okay, and then how you start executing your basic Linux commands, right? So I think you both of you are new to the Linux, right? So let's see how to work on that. Okay. Okay, so let me know once you see my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay, so just log into this site. I'm just copying the link and pasting in the chat. Okay, so just go to this link, and once you go to this link, you can see create a new AWS account, right? So you can see a link called create new AWS link. Click on the create new AWS link, followed by your email address, password, and account name, and click on continue. So once you give these details, so in the next page, it's gonna ask you to provide your personal details. And once you provide your personal details like your addresses, all those, in the third step, it will ask for your credit card details to activate your AWS account. It requires some details like you have to enter your credit card details and you have to confirm. So maybe credit card or debit card details, it's up to you. So once you enter one confirm, it gonna direct I think $1 or $2 for a verification purpose. Again they will revert back. Okay, so because
So,
tomorrow,
I mean, they, as you says, Gopal, they will charge on my credit card first. How much?
yeah, I'm coming to that point. So
And one more thing,
the-
Dinesh can't hear, I believe.
Fajar, now I'm able to hear.
Oh, now you are good. Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm good.
okay, so when you once you activate your account, okay, so once you provide your credit card, debit card details, once you activate your account, so there are some free services. Okay, so you have to use only those free services. If you are if you're not using the free service, and if you're using the other services which are not comes under free, then AWS gonna charge you. So if AWS charges you automatically every month, okay, every month, if example now this is the first month you started creating, so first month you haven't used any additional services from AWS, so your balance is zero, then they won't deduct from your card. So example second month, if second month again you use some additional services, okay, you are being charged $10 for using additional services in AWS. So they'll ask you to pay, they won't deduct directly from your account. They'll ask you to pay the $10, and they give you some time period. If you're not able to pay within the time period, then they will do a auto deduction from your credit card. That's what happens. That's only in US. Okay, in India it's not like that. So for us, until we pay they won't deduct. Okay, in US I heard like they, if you doesn't pay within a time period they're going to deduct from your card. That's what happened. Okay, now, okay, I'll just tell you because you're not worrying. So what are the free services, what are the paid services, all those things I'm going to cover for you. Okay, don't worry about that. And I'll tell you how to check your balance, if something has been charged on your account or not. All those things I'll help you to know. Okay. Now, once you at the third step, once you give your credit card details, right? So your accounts get activated. So once your account got activated, you will see a screen like this. Whatever the screen you see on my screen now. So okay. So these are you see. These are AWS Amazon console. Once your account got activated, you should be able to see this account. And these are the services which Amazon has. Now, so once you create your account, okay, so go to your profile on top. You can see my screen. On top, you click on your my billing dashboard. Okay. So when you go to my billing dashboard, you can see. Okay. So on billing dashboard, how much you have been charged every month. Okay. Now, if you see my screen, I have been charged 0 points, 10 cents, right? So that means 7 rupees in Indian. I got 7 rupees charge. For what purpose they have been charged for me? For using some EC2 services. Means I have used some additional medium to servers for my training purpose, for Jenkins purpose. So to that purpose, they have been charged for me 0.07 and 0.01 as an this tax. Okay. So now you can see on how they have been charged, all those things they're gonna see. Now, in your case, if you don't want to, okay, now what you can do is in Amazon. So if you want to, okay, but how can I override basically when I start creating something by mistakenly? So Amazon should intimate me saying like, okay, this has been, this will cross your limit of your budget, something like that. It has to intimate me. Okay. So then what you can do, you can create an alert for your budget. Okay. Example, you don't want to spend more than $5 in Amazon account. If something $5 has been crossed, Amazon need to intimate me immediately, a alert notification chat. So you can create and manage your budgets here. By clicking this, you can activate your one. You can provide your input, how much you want to put your limit, and you can do that. That's all you can do. Okay. So in Gopal, my billing dashboard, you can see here. Okay, so you can see payment history. So what is the payment previously, if you have made, what, how much it has been. So last month it has been, I got this much, this month 7 rupees. These are, you can track your services. Clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, just a second. Okay, now okay, so now you are seeing how to manage your dashboard of billing dashboard, right? Now next thing, what is this? Once your account get activated, you should be able to create an EC2 instance. Okay, so once you provide your credit card details and once your account get activated, it takes from 5 minutes to 24 hours. Within 5 minutes to 24 hours, your account will get activated. And you can start creating your EC2 instances. Okay, so now how do you know whether your account has been activated or not to create an EC2 instance? Okay, to create an EC2 instance, how do you know whether your account has been activated or not? So simply what you do, you can see on top services, click on the services, click on EC2, Elastic Cloud Compute. This is where you create your virtual service. Right click on EC2 and click on the, now once you go here, click on the launch instance. Okay, launch instance nothing but create instance. Okay, so now click on the launch instance button over here. So that means you are trying to create a virtual server in Amazon. Okay, now when you click on the launch instance, okay, so this is only for creating a Linux server. So when we go to actual AWS part, we'll see more in detailed description, but these steps whatever I'm showing you to create an EC2 Linux box, that's it, remember. Okay, now services, I just click on the launch instance. Now, when you click on the launch instance, first step, it's gonna show you the list of operating systems. Okay, so what kind of operating system you want to create? Okay, what kind of server you want to create? According to that, you have to select your operating system. Now you have a Red Hat server, Amazon Linux Red Hat server. Okay, and you have Red Hat original Red Hat operating system, SES Linux, Ubuntu operating system, Windows, like and Ubuntu deep learning and Amazon deep learning, right? So you have different kind of operating system. So which one you need to select? Which operating system is helpful for training purpose? So now, before selecting an operating system, see the description. Okay, so if you see the description says when you create a server out of this particular operating system, these are the prerequisite softwares which get included inside your server. Example, you want to install Python on your server. When you create your server using this particular operating system, Python, by default, Python is available in that server because this OS is already having that installation part. Okay, similarly, if you choose the second one, these are the benefits. Okay, if you use the third one, it's a plain vanilla Red Hat server. It has nothing, everything you have to install from the scratch. Okay, so first, for a training purpose, let's go first one. Select the first one and select a CPU on RAM of T2 micro. Remember, okay, okay. Let me go to previously. Make sure when you select your OS, make sure this free tier eligible option is present at particular image. Okay, so otherwise what you can do, you can check this option, free tier only. Okay, if you check this option, it shows the images which are eligible for free tier. Okay, if you use other images, again you Amazon gonna charge you because all the operating system images are not free in Amazon. Only few operating systems are in free, but in this free you have everything. You have Red Hat, Ubuntu, SUS, Linux, Windows, everything. What are the required things? You have everything. You have. Okay, now I'm selecting the first one, Amazon Linux AMI. Okay, now in the second step, select a number of CPU and RAMs you want to allocate to your server. Okay, make sure you select only T2 micro, which is a which is eligible for free tier only. Again, other are paid. Okay, don't select the other one, other are paid. Go to the third step. In the third step, don't make any changes, let it be default. Okay, in the fourth step, default. Fifth step, just add a tag. Okay, key is a name, means you are assigning a server name. Okay, so Linux demo, that's the name I'm assigning. Configure security group. Okay, assign a security group. Okay, and you can select your security group. Okay, so by default you'll create a new security group. This is a new security group by default, it's created. Let it be default, don't make any rule changes. We'll see later other how you make the rule changes and when we go to AWS. Okay, let it be default in your case. Okay, finally these are the things what you have been selected. It shows, click on the launch button now. So at the final step, it shows you something, key pair. Key pair is nothing but this is a password to authenticate your server, right? So when you create a server, you should authenticate your server using username and password, right? Okay, so if you want to do that, so this is a key pair, helps you to authenticate your server. So in your case, okay, when you try to create a first time, your page comes like this. For the first time when you create a server, your page comes like this. So give a key pair name, some demo XYZ, some name, or others you can give your name also, like Dinesh. Okay, key pair. Okay, or maybe development key pair, development related server key pair. It's up to you what name you want to give. Okay, so demo XYZ, that's a name I'm giving. And what you have to do, you have to click on the download key pair. So when you click on the download key pair, a PEM key will get download to your server, means to your laptop. Okay, so this is a keypay to authenticate server. So now if you see my screen, if I click on that download keypay, see, a keypay has been downloaded from me. So this is a keypay, it has been downloaded, demo xyz.pem. Okay, let me close this. Okay, so once the keypad was downloaded, now click on the launch instance. Now your server will get created. Now click on the view instance. Now you can see your server is getting created. This is how you create a Linux box in Amazon. Clear?
Yes, open.
Now, so what laptops you both are using? Mac or Windows?
Yeah, that was the question I was about to ask, Gopal. Right now, I have Windows, but you suggest I am hearing that uh, Mac is good for Linux to use.
No, it's not like that. You can use Windows as well. It's up to you.
Okay.
Okay. So if you are using a Windows, I want any one of you to share your screens.
Okay.
Because so that on any one screen I'll help you to how you now I created a server on Amazon,
Okay.
right? Like how you need to connect to this Linux server from a Windows server. I'll just show you.
Okay. So let me share my screen then. I have a
Right?
Windows machine.
Oh, just a second. Let me show you on Mac how to do that
Okay.
first. Then we'll
Okay.
go to
Yeah,
Windows.
because Mac, I think I'm going to gonna use with Mac as well.
Yeah. Okay. Then let me show you now. So now you see. Now you can see Linux demo server which have been created. Now it's came to running state. Okay. Now initializing happened. Okay. So server is running state. Now what you do? Take your public IP. These are public IP. Remember,
Okay.
whatever the servers you created in Amazon,
Mhm.
you cannot access your servers through the private IP over the internet. From the internet, directly you cannot access your servers through the private IPs. Remember that point. Then how
Okay.
do you access? Using public IP, you should be able to access over the internet. Okay, take your public IP. I have copied the public IP. If you are using a Mac or Linux or Ubuntu laptops, okay, so Linux or Mac or Ubuntu laptops, then what you do, open your terminals. You can see something called terminal. Okay, open your terminal. Okay, once you open your terminal, now the command to access the Linux server is ssh followed by with what user you need to authenticate the server. So you don't know with what username and password you want to authenticate. You don't want to authenticate the server. So immediately select your server, click on the connect button. So connect button will say how you need to connect to the server with what username and password. Okay. Now when I click on the connect, it will tell me. See. So first of all, make sure you protect your PEM key. Okay, so 400. So I'll come to that. What is chmod 400, all these things. So this command to protect your PEM key. So PEM, that is a private key, right? So someone using your laptop, okay, someone example this is a shared laptop example. So if someone shared laptop, if you have a uh, open permission, then other people can see your key. Okay, so that's the reason to avoid that. So what you are suggesting, to protect your key using this command. Okay, so now first thing, so where is my now so where is my key present? Under downloads, right? Under downloads I have my key. Okay, so I have my key now. I'm trying to protect the key with the ch400. Okay. Now remember in line X, if you execute some command, it immediately comes to second line. That means your command has been executed successfully. Okay. Now I protected my key. Now once you protect key, so what you were saying, try to log in. So these are public DNS. So you can connect to your server using public DNS or public AP. Anything it will work to access your server. Okay. Now next thing. So now these are sh command to connect from Linux laptop. Okay. So what you are saying, sh-i followed by your key name followed by your username. See, using ec2-user at the rate your server public IP means using ec2-user and using this key as your password. Try to authenticate your server. That's what he was trying to say. Okay. Now ssh ec2-user at the rate followed by your IP, public IP -i demo xyz.com. This is a command to authenticate your server, right? So sh means you are trying to log into your server using a ec2-user, and this is a password. This is a key. It's like a password. It's a private key to authenticate your server. Now enter. Yes, I want to authenticate the server. Done. Now previously I was in MacBook Pro. Now I am into the server. ec2-user at the right IP. Right? So this is how you authenticate. You log into a Linux box inside the using a Mac terminal. Clear? So now I'm in the server. Now what I can do? If I do cd and cd/ls space -ltr, this is my home. Like you see in Windows, you go to my computer and you see all the folders, different folders, right? So similarly, in a Linux box, if you do cd/, if you do ls space -ltr, it will show the list of directories, whatever it has inside the Linux box. You can see on my screen. Clear?
Yes, Gopal. But if you go up, I just want to know what was the command that you used for mv hyphen.
Okay. So this command.
Yes.
No. So basically, when I download the file, my file has not downloaded properly on my Mac. So the file name should be like this: demo xyz.pem file. But in under the downloads, my file has been downloaded .txt. Means some extra characters has came inside my file name. So mv is the command to move the file from one name to other name, or some. I rename the file name. That's it.
Okay.
I rename the file name. Like example, in Windows, you right click and you rename the file name, right? Similarly,
Yes.
in the Linux or a Mac, you use mv command. Rename or to move a file. Okay, example, my file is under the downloads. So I moved into my home path, means into my home directory. From downloads, I moved it. While moving, I renamed the file name.
Okay. So once you change the file name
Both the things
and
together.
the
And this thing, like this command moved this file to your home directory. Is that right?
Sorry.
Like this command moved this file to your home directory as well, right?
Exactly. It will move to my home directory, and at the same time, it will rename as well.
Okay.
Two things together.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Gopal.
So yeah, we'll see about this move command once we go into our Linux commands execution. Now, so that's how you authenticate the server in the Linux. Got it? Using sh command followed by username at the rate your server IP followed by your hyphen I. Hyphen I defines your key. Now, example, if you have a password, now I have a private key to authenticate my server. I was able to do. Now, if you have a password, then if you have a password, then you have to use hyphen p followed by your password. Okay. If you have a private key, a PEM key, then it should be hyphen I. If you have only password, example, now I'll exit from the server. Now I came out of the server. See, logged out. Connection to the server has been closed. Okay. Now now if I have now I don't have a key. If I have a password, I will do hyphen p. Example password is suppose example now demo at the rate 1. This is my password for my server. Okay, so hyphen p followed by my password. This is how you authenticate your server if you have a password for the server. But nowadays we are no more using passwords, completely through the private keys only. Okay,
Okay.
now clear how to authenticate a server.
Yeah, Gopal.
Now let's go with the Windows same server. How you authenticate in the Windows? Okay, so Dinesh, share your screen.
Yeah.
Okay, before doing that, just a second, see my screen. Okay, when you click on the connect button,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so you can see when if you want to connect through a Windows server, you have to connect using putty.
Okay.
Putty software is the one which you require to connect from the Windows. Okay, so in the Dinesh laptop, let's download the putty software.
Okay.
Yeah, I made you presenter.
Okay. So I
Dinesh, can
was
you
able
ping me your email ID once?
email ID. Sure.
Yeah, because I need to send the private key to you, right? To access the server.
Right. Yeah, I've pinged my email ID.
Okay. Okay. Now, yeah, you're sharing your screen. I cannot see your screen.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it now visible?
Yeah, now I can see your screen.
Okay.
Now, okay. Now listen. So first thing, you need to download Putty software to authenticate your server. So
Okay.
now open your screen, download Putty downloads. Download Putty, yeah. Enter. So open the first link. Okay. So yeah, download Putty here.
So
Now 64-bit, yeah, installer.msi.
this one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's the one. Now double click. Next. So it along with Putty, it will install some more softwares which is required for us. Okay,
Sure.
install. If you want to add shortcut, you can add. Yeah, finish. Now, click on the star. Okay, now go to your Gmail and I have sent a key. Download it.
Okay. This one.
Yeah.
So where select keep it now? Like,
Yeah, so you can on desktop directly. You can save it on desktop.
Okay.
Now save it.
Okay. So now,
Okay.
now I need to open Putty, right?
Yeah. Open. Oh no. So see, remember, when you try to connect from a Windows laptop,
Mm-hmm.
you should be, you have to convert your PEM key into PPK. Okay. So PEM key works only, it works only in the Linux or Mac, but for Windows you require a PPK. So now you have to convert your PEM key, whatever you have the PEM key, you have to
Mm-hmm.
convert the PEM key into PPK. Okay. So for that you have to have a PuttyGen software. Okay.
Okay.
So that is got installed by the Putty software only. Now go to your
Okay.
start button and type PuttyGen.
Is this the one?
Yeah, that's the one. Open the PuttyGen. Now click on the load button. Load. So click on the load button, and on the desktop you have downloaded your key, right? Go to
Yeah.
your desktop. Select. Okay. Now here, file should be all files. All files. Now second file. Select it. Click on
Open.
open. Yeah. Now it has been converted. Now save private key under the
So,
load button. Save private key. Yes. Now give the same some name. So demo XYZ. You can give the same name. So now the file name will, now previously dot pem. Now no, it will save as a dot ppk. Okay. Now leave it. Now save. That's it. Now
okay.
you can close this. Okay. So this is how you convert your PEM key into PPK. Remember, in
Okay.
Windows. Now once
Okay.
you convert it, now open your Putty software from start.
Putty.
Yeah.
This one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now give your host IP. So here you have to give the public IP. So the public IP of the server is 13.233.107.195.
195. And the
Now,
port will be
now
same, right?
wait. Yeah, port will be default 22.
Okay.
Don't make change to the port. Now click
Mhm.
on the plus SH on your left side. You see a lot of options, right? Below option, you can see SH. Beside
SH
to that, no, no, not down to the left side.
down to the
Your,
left side. Okay. This one?
yeah, that's all. Now here you click on the auth. You see auth
Right.
auth name.
Yeah.
No, no, on auth name. Select the name auth. Beside to
Uh,
this, yeah. Okay.
mhm.
Now here you have to load your PPK file. Click on the browse.
Oh,
Okay. Now go to your desktop.
this
See
one?
your yeah. These are PPK which just now we generated
All
using
right.
PEM. Okay. Now select it. Open. Okay. Now you loaded your key. Now on the same left side, if you see little bit up, you see data, right?
Data.
Under the
This
connection. Data. Yeah.
one.
Now auto login username. So when you try to authenticate, by
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
default it should not ask the username. It has to take from here. So
Okay.
EC2 hyphen user.
EC2 hyphen user, right?
Yeah.
Like this.
So this is the username, and in auth you have provided your PEM key, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
username and password it has to authenticate. Now on left side scroll up.
Mm-hmm.
Again click on the session on top, session, right? So here you given the IP. Now under the saved session write down demo server as
Here. Here.
on top. Yeah, demo server. So basically you are saving your server profile. Tomorrow you want to relog. So now click on the save button. See, it came down. So tomorrow if you want to relog in, right, so you can simply select your server and click on the load. When you click on the load, it will load all the details whatever you have given now.
Okay.
So every time you no need of entering the server details again and again.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how you save the session on. Next time you can log. Now click on the open button. So it will authenticate your server using username, password, and IP. Now click on the yes. I want to authenticate. Then now you are into server. So
Okay.
cd space slash cd space forward slash
Right.
enter. ls space minus ltr, enter. The
Okay.
same output what you see on my screen you can see, right?
Right, right.
So remember, the way you authenticate the server in the Windows and Mac are different. But once you authenticate, right? Once you authenticate, everything remains same. It's a
Okay.
as it is copy. That's it.
Okay. So once I'm done with the authentication, so it doesn't matter like whether I'm using a Windows laptop or a Linux laptop, right?
Exactly, exactly. It doesn't matter at all. The way you authenticate the server is only matter. Once you
Okay.
authenticate it, that's it. Both are similar, Xerox,
Okay. Got it.
right?
All right.
Now I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you authenticate the servers in Amazon. I'll quickly go through quickly once again what I've done. I was go and create your account. Once you create your account, go to click on services, go to EC2, and once you click on the EC2, click on the launch instance, select it, make sure you check this box, free tier only, select your first operating system, which has by default the AWS command line, Python, Ruby, Java, everything, all the packages by default it gets. Make sure to select this particular OS and select free tier CPU or RAM. Okay, 1 CPU and 1 GB of RAM. Default default in the tags give the name demo server configure security group, default review on launch, and see details, launch it. While you launch it, make sure you'll get option create new pair. But when you try to create a second server in your account, now I'm creating second server, right? Now
Right.
when I create a second server, you have to choose an existing key, means whatever the key pair I've used for my previous server.
Okay.
Okay, the same key means the same PEM can be assigned to n number of servers.
Okay.
Okay, so for each server you do not of requiring each key, so same key can be assigned to same. Now for my previous server I assigned demo key z, for this server also I can assign demo xyz.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when you create a second server, example, now if you are to create a second server, make sure you select the same key pair. Okay, so I acknowledge and launch instance, it will create a one more server for you. That's it. Once your server got created, if you are using a Mac, simply ssh ec2 hyphen user at the rate followed by your public IP hyphen I demo xyz.pem. This is a key. Okay,
Yeah.
that's how it works. If you are using Windows, you have to use putty.
Okay. So,
Now, now,
Gopal,
if
one quick question. Okay.
yes.
Yeah. So, like, you have created the server. Okay. So now
Hmm.
tomorrow when I want to do something on the on my server, so do I need to again log into the AWS site and do something before I connect to that server from Putty or from
No,
Linux?
not required, not required.
Not required,
No,
right?
not required. If you want to relog into your server tomorrow, so now
Mhm.
you log in. Now tomorrow you want to log in again. So
Yeah.
no, no, no. Just open your putty, select your
Okay.
server, click on the load.
Okay.
Server name you given down, right? Demo
Right.
server.
All right.
Click on the server that name and click on the load. It load all your details on the putty and
Yeah.
click on the
So
open. It will open. That's it.
okay. So the server will be in the running state all the time. Right?
Yes, the server should be in the running state if you want to log in back.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now next thing about most important, make sure you are not okay. Once you done with your job,
Mhm.
once you done with your job of server, make
Mhm.
sure you shut down your server, stop
Okay.
it. Why? Because every month you're gonna get 750 free hours.
Okay.
Okay, so now example, now you created two servers, two T2 microservers, and two are running. Means if you run a server for 24 hours,
Mhm.
24 into 30 means 24 means daily 48 hours has been consumed from your
Right.
750 hours. Means 48 into 30, it crosses, It goes
Right.
around 1300 hours. That means you have crossed 750 hours, right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason they're going to charge you again. That's the reason once you're done with your job, make
Mm-hmm.
sure you shut down your server.
Okay.
So
So
remember, see, these are the test servers. Okay.
yeah.
So these are the test servers. If you shut down your server, your public IP will get changed.
Oh.
Now see my screen. Now I have done with my job on the Linux server. Okay.
Yeah.
Now what I'm gonna do? Okay, I don't require today. I'm gonna stop the server. Okay. So when I stop my server, this public IP will get disappeared because these are the what are the servers we created? These are the test servers, which is we, for that Amazon has given a temporary IPs, public IPs. Okay.
Okay.
But in real time scenario,
Mm-hmm.
we don't do like this. We will assign a dedicated public IPs.
Okay.
But here we should not do that because this, if you want to get a dedicated public IP, it's very costly.
Okay.
Okay.
So Gopal,
So
here's the question: like each time, if I am stopping by the end of that session, so each time it will be generating new public IP. So does it mean I need to go back to the server and change my keys as well? Because upon login,
no,
I need to provide.
no, keys and username will remain same. You okay, example. Now previous I used this command to login, right?
Yes.
Now my public IP has been changed. So what I'll do, I'll remove this public IP. Okay? And see now my public IP has been disappeared, right? Server is stopped. Now I'll start it again. So this works only for test servers, but real time scenario, this is not the scenario. Real time scenario will have a dedicated public IPs, so the IPs doesn't change. Remember. Now, if you see the private IP is not getting changed, only public IPs are getting changed. But using private IP, we cannot access the server. Okay. Now, see a new public IP has been kept. Take this public IP. Okay, I'll paste it here and enter. That's it.
Okay.
Clear?
So
Now,
by any chance, like, can we track like how much hours we have spent on our server on every month?
yeah. So if you go to your billing dashboard, you'll have the details.
Okay.
In billing dashboard, it will explain you complete in detail. Okay. So now see, my IP has been changed. Now I changed my IP and I type enter. Yes. That's it. Now I logged in server. So now Dinesh, now in your case also,
Mm-hmm.
now what you have to do, share your screen. 1 second, I'll tell you. Now IP has been changed, right? So now open your putty again back. See, it
Oh,
went inactive. The system is going down when I powered off,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
Now close this putty completely. Otherwise, close
Mm-hmm.
it, close it, close this.
Okay.
Now open your putty again. Now, previously you have session, right? Click on
Yeah.
that. Click on the load button. Now change your IP there on top. So the IP
Okay.
should be now 13.233
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
dot 132
Yeah.
dot 178.
178. That's
Now
it,
click
right?
on save again. Save.
Okay.
Okay. This will save. This will override your role changes. Okay.
Okay.
Now click on the open button.
Yes.
Got it?
Yeah. And
So
then
this is
again the
how
same
you
thing.
authenticate or you access your servers in Amazon.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So any doubts? Accessing a server from Mac or Windows?
I think I'm good.
How about Faizan? Faizan, right? Name?
Yes, Gopal. Yes, I believe I'm good too. Got it very well. Thanks for Mac and Windows.
Okay. Now, if you see my screen, make sure once you create account, go to your billing dashboard. Okay. So here you can see. Okay. So monthly, how much you have been used, 30 GB of Amazon, how much percentage you have been used here. You can see month of date as percentage,
Oh,
right?
I'm getting Danish's screen. I think
Yeah,
he's.
Gopal, I can't see your screen.
Okay.
My screen is still active, I guess.
Okay. Just a second.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes, now I can see.
There you go.
now go to Gopal. Okay, now go to your profile and my billing dashboard. When you go to the billing dashboard, if you come little bit down, so top free tier services by usage,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Now you can see the percentage. So Amazon EC2. Okay, so how much percentage has been used? Okay, I have 30 GB per month to use the elastic block storage in combination of SSD. So for using the volumes storage, I have of 30 GB of things I can use, but only 4% I have been used as of now. So like this, you can see if you want, if you click on the view all, see the monthly is it's showing, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
now see EC2 Amazon 750 hours of Amazon EC2 current uses 9 hours. Okay, so how much percentage have been used? Okay,
Yeah.
so these are, so that's the reason best thing, come here, create and manage your budgets. Okay, monitor your cost budget against a specific dollar amount or
Mhm.
usage budget as reservation budget. So select your which type of you want to use it. Monitor usage one or more specific usage types or groups, receive alerts for user definition, or maybe money when you want to budget, or when you track your utilization of with reservation supports this one. Make sure you use a reservation budget, set your budget. Okay, so monthly period utilization, if something 90% has been utilized to account, send all. Okay, so on what all select your service on what all services you want to have. So if you want to filtering on all the services, you can mention include all, it will be include all. Okay, so you can use it if you are using widely you're using, you can use it, but I don't think this much is not required for you. But if you want to set it on, you can set it on, it's up to you. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just stop over here. So let's catch up tomorrow. Make sure you have your accounts. Once your accounts there, so from tomorrow I'm gonna start executing Linux commands and let's see more. Okay?
Okay.
Sure. Thank you so much, Gopal.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks all.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you, Gopal.
uh, so if you have any doubts in tomorrow first thing, I'll clear your queries and we'll start with the Linux part. Okay?
Sure. And we will be getting the recorded version of this class on
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Organizer.
Yeah. Organizer will send you the recording session.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Thanks all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Gopal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.